Hi there. So today we're going to tackle the last two chapters of the compound effect. So chapters 5 and 6. So we go into the influences in our life, people, media, etc. And he talks and delves into a lot about what we feed our brain. We are naturally at a set point to take in the negative because our primal brain is on survival mode, as he says. So we are on the lookout for what's going to kill us. We're looking on the lookout for the big bear that's going to eat us alive, right? But since we're not usually in those environments anymore, we are feeding on all these little tiny negative things that are like mosquito bites, which could be the love handles on I see in the mirror, the cellulite, or stress at work. Then we start to get on flight or flight within those small things in our life that aren't really out to kill us or anything like that. And so we can't really change our brains necessarily, the primal DNA of our existence, but we can start to rewire our brain um, and rewire our behaviors. That's what this whole book's about, learning to rewire our habits and behaviors so we can start to see the positive, flush out, as he says, the negative with positive, inspirational, and supportive ideas instead of what we tend to consume ourselves with. And I really enjoyed his reminder about our reference group. 95% of our success or failures in our life are dependent upon the average of 5 people that we hang around. So that affects the quality of our health, our attitude, and our income. So that's something to take into consideration. Are you actually hanging out and soaking up your time with people that really do feed your soul and your where you want to go in life? Are they good influences, or are they drawing you back away from your goals? And that is very, very difficult to um, talk about and to think about changing in your life. Excuse the sirens. I just really wanted to be outside since it's gorgeous out here in Seattle. And later on, he talks about to fill up our life with influencers that are good for ourselves and finding a peak performance partner. You may have found that partner and your accountability buddy, aka, in this group or at yoga or at church. So finding someone that has the same goals in mind, an equal commitment to study and personal growth like you do. And he also goes on to say to find a mentor, no matter what age or what stage in life you are, to always keep that momentum and motivation to keep on growing. I've talked with a few women, especially those who are close to retirement, about, oh, I'm too old for that. It doesn't, I've been consumed with my kid's life. This is exactly the perfect time to start reevaluating your life about you again. What do you want? What are your goals? They don't have to be necessarily monetary or about your kids. It could be about travel, picking up a new skill. Do you want? How much do you want to retire on? Things like that, and finding and still wanting to grow in your life. We never stop growing, whether we're 7 or 70, and even then still finding a mentor in one area of your life. So I would select for this exercise one area of your life, whether it's health. We have a few singers in here. This is singing and music, or a mentor in your specific career. Find someone that will guide you, that you will be able to listen to and start to mold your life for the better and how you want to grow in your life. It doesn't have to be about health. And then, board of advisors, keeping a close set of friends that will keep you accountable and check. Again, this could be your group, and you can always, again, feel free to always cycle through this 21-day reset with me as your lifetime coach. I'm here for you. I could be your mentor if you wanted to be. I'd be honored. Um, but keeping a close set of people that will keep you on track, that will be honest with you, and people that you can trust in this area of your life that you want to have advice upon. And later on in that chapter 5, it talks about clearing out the clutter. So we are going to actually physicalize this activity together during this week and weekend. Clearing out physically a space in our homes that we have been avoiding. But this is also an examination and a parallel to our inner self. What are we clouding? What are we storing up in our mindset or in emotionally that keeps us from being efficient, productive, or even more happy? I'm going to tackle my room because it is messy and I like to avoid that as much as possible, but you're going to see pictures. Don't worry. And then I want to follow up with this quote, a couple of these. He writes, "You will get out of life what you accept and expect you are worthy of." Woof. That's a hard part to take into account for ourselves. Kristen knows this. In our class for grad school, we've talked a lot about norms, and one of our grad teachers, she always says, the norms you get are the ones you tolerate. So if you tolerate being disrespected, like your time is not, someone's not meeting you at the right amount of time regularly, and that is something that you feel is disrespectful to you, you shouldn't put up with that anymore. You need to lay it down the ground. That is something I'm working on currently with my boyfriend. Yeah, because he's always late, and I've tried to have these talks with him, but it's a hard thing to like set the law, lay the law, you know? Particularly with me who does not like confrontation. Um, I've been, since reading this, I've had to re-examine what norms am I tolerating and am I worthy of these norms that I am tolerating? Yeah, especially time. And it's a core value of mine. Being respectful of people's time is something very important to me, and I need to lay down that more. And later on, he writes, "Hitting the wall isn't an obstacle, it's an opportunity." So what we've been doing for the 21 days is starting to reevaluate and examine our habits and behaviors and building new disciplines in our body and mindset so that we become conscious. So when we hit those stress moments, whether it's a big fight with our loved one, our spouse, or with our kids, or work is just overwhelming, when we hit that wall, these habits that we've been consistently working on, they will help us separate from what we would previously have done to be the person that we want to be in when we rise to the occasion. And that's like in all the movies, you see the heroes rising to the occasion. He goes beyond and above. So start to become the hero in your story, in your life. And it's through these little daily habits, accountability, and re-examination that we can start to be the person that we want to be more and more like. And definitely need to be a lot less, how shall I say, aggressive when I'm in those situations of hitting the wall. I tend to lash out and be naggy and want to raise my voice and cuss. That's where I get from my father. Thank you, Dad. So I personally have to work on that. And we all have different ways that we lash out. And so we're working on that together. That's why we're here. And in chapter 6, we talk about how to accelerate the progress that we want to make. So one way is doing more than just enough. We like to just keep the status quo, especially I feel like in our culture, we're just like, okay, I just have to get like the average, C average or whatever, you know, I just have to meet the requirements and I'm done. At least that's what I found out and feel like it's happened in my, at least academic career a lot of times. But it's doing more than is expected is what's going to set you apart from a lot of people. It shows integrity, it shows honor and respect for yourself and for others. And giving a little bit more time, more energy, and more thought into those efforts that you want to improve results. And when you do that, not only you're going to improve, but you're going to multiply them. So just doing that little extra edge, whether it's one more set of push-ups on your toes, whether it is doing those fine little editing details on a paper, a presentation, whatever it is that's really important to you, whether it's for your career, for your health, or for your family. So how can we push through those barriers that we previously have set for ourselves to find that new growth and to separate our old self from our new self? And so we're going to go through these little questionnaires, ask yourself, reflect, and who are the major influences in your life? Are you staying on Facebook or watching the news or not cultivating yourself in a spiritual and mental sense better? So start to take time today and tomorrow just to briefly think about these things. What are your key influences in life, and are they helping you push towards your goals, filling your cup, flushing away the toxicity that we are always surrounded by, whether it's media, friends, family, or acquaintances, and the news? And where can you do a little extra? Where can we do the little extra push for you to grow and how you want to be? Um, is it staying through the whole 30 minutes of the workout or doing the extra set? Or is it actually putting a little extra effort into your homework? And that's me. I've been settling too much in my grad program sometimes. So that's where I'm going to try to work on putting a little extra thought, a little extra energy, and stop writing into the excuse that I have no time, that I have no energy to do it. It's about prioritizing my time a little bit more efficiently, and that's what I'm starting to be more and more aware of. So now it's time for you to ask yourself these questions, and soon this week we're going to start to physicalize these reflections and declutter our lives, get a little cleanse in with our homes. So stay tuned. Have a good rest of your week, my ladies. Bye-bye.